Awesome. Happy Sunday night, March 14th. I can't believe it. Cruising through March, and I hope everybody who finds this recording and is on live with us here is doing well and that this finds you well. I am really excited, like I said, to talk about something that I feel like isn't talked about enough, but experienced a lot. Just to kick this off, I wanted to introduce myself or reintroduce myself. If you are already, on this journey and have heard from me, hi. And if you haven't, I am Jessica. I'm here live from Boston. I am a nurse and full-time corporate professional working in the medical device industry, but I'm also an executive with Isagenix. I have a six-figure business with Isagenix, and it is my absolute passion and purpose here on this planet. I started with these products a couple years ago, and after watching my sister Allie absolutely crush her health goals and transition into helping other people feel amazing, I knew that this company and that this community had exactly what I needed to tap into my full potential, which leads me here today. And I think so often we tell our stories, and it doesn't matter how many times we tell them, we still find a way to find a hole in it, right? We still find a way to come up with a reason why, we're not as good or we aren't where we should be or yada, yada. And tonight I want to talk about something that I think everybody can relate to and a lot of people experience. It's about getting out of comparison mode and stepping into leadership. So stepping away from some of the negative energy that can come with comparing or coming up against resistance from things we create, and really moving into a leadership role and being a leader for yourself, for your team, for your family, however this serves you. And I think that the more that we're in comparison mode, the less likely we can really be in a leadership role. And leadership for some of us is different from one another. Some people, leadership, the next level of leadership for them is speaking on stage. Maybe the next level of leadership for you is just recognizing a teammate for, joining you on this journey. Maybe the next level of leadership is moving to executive and staying there. Maybe the next level of leadership is manager. Maybe the next level of leadership is just talking to your friends and family about what you have here at Isagenix. I'm not sure what that level of leadership is, but let's not just assume that when we say leadership, it means being the biggest influence in the world with all of the things that you need as far as, business and all of that. Leadership means stepping out of the things that are blocking you and stepping into where you're supposed to be next. And that's what I want to help everybody, including myself, work through tonight. And even if we just get a little bit better and a little bit further along in this process, then we're setting ourselves up for next week even better, right? So, and that would make me happy, even if it was just a little bit. So who has experienced, use the chat box, who has experienced comparison in anything in life, physical goals, relationship goals, business goals, any of these things are all the time, me, okay, cool. So this shows us that we're all on the same page, right? And I think so often too, we don't realize that struggles and the things we go through, whether it be life and being an athlete in life and all the things that come at you, right? It's a real, journey, or in business, that the things we struggle with are universal most of the time. And if we know that these struggles are universal, the better that we can, it's not about eliminating the struggles. It's not about completely, plowing through all the struggles and obstacles and being on the other side of it. No, it's not about that. It's actually about just eliminating. It's not about eliminating, but it's about just recognizing when and what is happening so we can be self-aware enough to move past that feeling and into a better state. So it's not about eliminating. It's not about being hard on yourself if you are falling in a category or you do feel something strongly or something does resonate. It's not about that. It's not about getting rid of it completely. It's about understanding that that's going to be there, and we get to work past it and move through it together to grow to the next level. So just a couple of disclaimers before we start chatting about. that. So on this topic of comparison, there's many ways that we can compare, as we just said, and a lot of us have felt that way or feel that way currently. And tonight I want to unpack comparison in your business, specifically related to business. And of course, comparison can come in a lot of different forms. So in order to unpack some comparison in your business, if it's okay with you guys, I would love to share some that have been on my heart or have been a part of my journey. And in doing so, I think that we'll find we all relate to a lot of them, or maybe a few of them, or maybe they come up or show up in different ways for you. But just knowing that we all have these might be helpful. So I'm going to read through a couple examples of things I've personally had to deal with. Now, that might have been in some cases just, hey, I'm having this feeling, and very quickly acknowledging it, being self-aware to move past it and shift my energy. Or some of these examples might have been tears, Zoom calls with my sister and business partner, Zoom calls with Zach and Eden, my mentors, ongoing conversations to work through and move past something that had affected me further. So sometimes it's quick and it's move past it and self-aware, and other times it's really work through why and what is happening. And so in talking through these and just kind of preempting some of that, I hope that everyone understands that we all go through these things and we all grow through these things. So I get to build this business, like I said, in my beautiful part of the story after watching my sister, Allie Gray, get started on this journey. I have got the absolute pleasure to build and grow this business alongside my sister and best friend, like real life sister, like blood sisters. And oftentimes it can be confusing because we have different last names, because she's married and I'm not yet. And we are real life sisters that get to grow and build this beautiful business together. And what has been so amazing about that is we have been able to really talk about things that, come up and grow through things together. We've been able to make a bigger impact linking arms together than we would have individually. We've been able to validate each other. We've been able to be there for each other. We've been able to connect on such a huge level. Now, maybe not everybody can relate to building this with your sister or a family member or a spouse, but maybe you can relate to building this with a partner who sees your vision. Maybe you can relate to building this with a teammate who you feel like have known forever when you get started on this journey, because they just get it. They get you, they get what you want. They hear you, they speak your language. Maybe you can relate because you're building this with somebody that you knew ahead of time before you started Isagenix, and the relationship of building a business together changes and evolves into such a beautiful thing. So all of these things are just the most amazing reasons that I get to, experience Isagenix with my sister. But you can imagine sisters have things that they go through. They have, things that they compare each other to before building a business. That's inevitable, right? As sisters with 2 years apart in age. And then building a business together, those are all amazing things that I just mentioned. But of course, there has been times where, in comparison mode, I've looked through things in a lens that wasn't the lens that it should have been or could have been at the time. So for these examples, there's always a lens A I'm going to give you and a lens B. Lens A is the comparison lens. Lens B is the leadership lens. And I hope that you stick with me on these examples and understand how lens A, the comparison lens, is very, very drastically different than lens B, the leadership lens. And they lead to very different outcomes, both okay, but it's about getting to lens B is the point. So as I said, building this business with my sister, it's been such an amazing journey. But of course, there have been times where comparison mode is kicked in and a lens has been turned on in lens A where, okay, we do this together, but we've got the same family members, the same cousins, the same aunts, the same, close family friends and things like that. Could lens A have very easily been there, thought of it as less associates personally enrolled, less customers ordering from my organization, us splitting customers because they're in the same network back and forth so we can, be even, right? Less associates turn consultants that could be, mine versus splitting them, right? And so breaking down this example, that might not be relatable to everyone if you're not building this with a sister, but maybe somebody in your network network has built a business in referral marketing. Maybe somebody you know sold something in the past. Maybe your lens A, instead of that specific example I gave you, your lens A of comparison is saying, oh, this person won't like this because somebody I knew that they knew sold Rodan and Fields in the past, sold something in the past. Maybe I won't be able to impact my close friends and family the way that I want to because my mom used to sell Isogenics when I was younger. Maybe, so lens A is going to be a comparison mode, and lens B is the real leadership lens, is together we get to make a greater impact. With my sister and my story, we get to impact people in a way greater way than I could individually. Without my sister starting this journey, I would have never walked into my purpose and my passion in my life of why I'm here and why I'm meant to do this. Without that, there is no leadership. So lens B, with the family member or a friend who's done something that you feel like maybe it's holding you back because you're looking through the comparison lens. Lens B for that, the leadership lens, is great. I'm so glad X, Y, or Z has done or told their story in the past. I get to share mine, how it relates to me. I get to do this in my life. I get to be a leading example for the way it's done right. I get to be, any of these things, and it's looking through that lens of leadership, which is the most important way to move past it. Second example that I've thought of for sure is the idea of I am not, and the thought about like Ali said, everybody's doing something. Now, we talked about this, her and I, the other day on social media, on social platforms. A lot of people are doing a lot of things. People are doing Amazon storefronts. People are doing referral codes. People are sharing or selling or talking about. A lot of people are. Now, could you look at that from a comparison mode and say, that might be working better, or maybe not even that. Maybe you're not comparing in that sense, but maybe you're just saying everybody's selling something. I don't know if my product or my story compares to that. Okay, lens B, the leadership. Okay, if so many people are looking for something to share or have a storefront or be a part of, they get to hear about this, or even more reason I get to share this story and this journey, because clearly a lot of people are looking for a resolution, a solution, or a community, or a stream of income, or all those things. So there's so many ways to always look at a lens A or through a lens B. And sometimes these simple thought processes of how you look through it can stop you in your tracks from the mission that you're on or the person you're speaking to. The one that's come up for me before is I don't do this full time, so I'll never bring my business to where I want it to be. I just don't have the time. Now, lens A is comparing myself to, in order to be X, Y, or Z here at Isogenics or in my business, I've got to do this full time. Otherwise, that's not in my cards. Lens B, the leadership role, is maybe I'm not supposed to be meeting people who have the ability to stay home. Maybe I'm supposed to meet people who also have a full-time business or full-time job like I do and need another stream of income, so they can help their fiance get out of debt, so that they can buy a house in their own name with their own money after a year of building this business, which otherwise would have never happened. Maybe I'm not supposed to build up a business to the point where I can just make it work to be full-time and replace my other income. Maybe I'm meant to meet people who need 2 streams of income right now. Maybe my mission and my voice is not supposed to be the full-time stay-at-home mom or the full-time business, venture who went out and did the darn thing and left her job in a year. Maybe my mission is for the majority of people I'm supposed to meet who have a full-time job, right? Maybe if I look at lens B and as a leadership role, I can meet, talk, and attract to the people that I relate to. The purpose that I'm supposed to have here right now, giving myself permission to grow and evolve into the person that has choice and can walk away when I want to, right? And giving myself permission to be exactly where I am, knowing that it's okay to be there and also want to get somewhere else at the same time. But would we agree that if I look through lens A, I waste so much more time thinking I can't do what I want to do than if I'm in B talking to the people who are meant to hear my voice and my story. And so many times, I've missed opportunities. I've missed leadership moments. I have missed conversations. I've missed connections with people because I've looked through lens A and I've compared myself instead of looking through lens B and being the leader that I am here and supposed to be. So if you don't relate to the full-time, part-time thing, just know your teammates, your partners, they have these feelings, they have these experiences. They see a leader or a trainer up on stage and they hear one piece of the story about how they were a mom before this came into their life and it gave them a reason to work. And the one thing they hold on to for the entire presentation is that, well, she was already home, so maybe that's why she had the time. Or the leadership role, right? She was meant to do this and find this to show other moms that same purpose. But me, my voice right now, right here, is meant for something different. And I stand in that and I lead in that and I stand tall in that. And that's such an important one. If I had a bad month this past month, but somebody else in the community or in the team had their biggest month, is it very easy to look at that and think, I'm not doing well, this isn't for me? There's varying extent of what might come up for you. I have never once thought about quitting this or stopping this. And I understand that, there's moments where people do. So it's never, stop me in my tracks from doing this, but could it be an energy that comes up that makes me think I can't do that? I think a lot of us have experienced this before. And what I always think about is lens A, the comparison lens with this is, yes, it's easy to feel defeated because you had a slow month and this person's having their largest month or a huge month or something like that. But that energy, obviously, we all know is wasted. The leadership lens is so freaking cool. They had 20 people join them in January. That means 20 people reached out to them or talked to them that needed Isagenix. That means people need Isagenix right now, right? They had X, Y, or Z rank advance on their team. That means people are joining for a financial opportunity and partnering with them. Those people aren't different than the people that I'm speaking to. I just have to move out of my own way and talk to more people to find them. And I think so often if we keep ourselves in lens A, we miss the opportunity to talk to the people who actually matter. So anytime something comes up, even if it's just for a brief second with recognition type of things, or someone that may have started on the same journey or same time frame as me that I might have been connected with, but maybe I see them doing different things or bigger things, I always come back to, wow, that is so freaking amazing. That is so cool that X, Y, or Z happened for them, because that means that X, Y, or Z can happen for me too. And there's people who want to join me right now as well. Or sometimes we even compare ourselves to ourselves. Can anybody use the chat box and tell me if you can relate to this? Like, we have big months and then we have slow months, and we're hard on ourselves because we're comparing our slow month to our big month, and we are comparing who we are, and we get in our own way. And that's just as bad as comparing ourselves to someone else. And when we're in a groove, when we're enrolling people, when we're rank advancing people and everything feels good and it's coming to us, we might not have as much negative self-talk as when we have a slower week or a slower month. And so then all of a sudden lens A, the comparison lens, is going to say, I'm stuck. I've been so out of the game. I don't even know, I need to restart. I need to switch all these things up. It's not working right now. I'm so stuck. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I don't know what I'm saying. I don't get it. And lens B, the leadership lens, is, hey, obviously it feels good when things are happening more, but I'm not stuck. I'm learning skills like consistency, like showing up even when the pay isn't as big as I, think it should be. Like looking at this as a long-term goal, like remembering that things don't happen overnight, teaching me that not everything comes to me, but I have to work hard for it, and I can see, those things come. Showing me that if I act as if, then it will be there in time. So maybe this time is lessons along this path and this journey that I'm meant to pick up and bring in my car and bring along with me. And maybe instead of getting in my own way and saying that I'm stuck or it's not for me or something's not right, I can get out of my own way and understand that that season was meant to teach me a hard lesson that I needed to learn. And I needed to learn new skills, and I needed to level up, and I needed to get bared down and consistent with my reach outs, my follow-ups, my connections, and all those things so that I can get to where I want. It doesn't just happen, right? Act as if. So lens B is your leadership lens of let's go make it happen. And the other thing is, if it happened a couple months ago, if it happened last year, if it happened 2 years ago, that means you can do it. That means you can do it. If it's not happening, that just means you're in your own way. You're convincing yourself otherwise. So if you have done it in the past and you feel like you're stuck, step into your leadership role, write down the things you learn in a season where it's tough, carry that with you, bring it into your car, and keep going to where you've done before, where you've gone before. Since when is it okay to have a hard something, a bump in the road and act like it isn't for us or we haven't done it before? And how long do you want to stay there is the question. A minute, cool. Like it, sometimes we have to be in our thoughts. Sometimes it's just like, all right, this sucks, and other times, we're there way too long. And again, it's not about eliminating these things from our life and from our story and from this process. It's not. It's just about being self-aware enough to say, that was here. I was supposed to grab it and bring it in here so we can keep going. So sometimes we get in our own comparison, and it's more deadly than comparing ourselves to other people. So maybe you relate to that one more than you do these other examples. One more example is, my team isn't rank advancing, but I'm enrolling a lot of customers. Or maybe I am just getting started and all I want is partners who really can see this vision and want this vision. And maybe lens A is too busy trying to compare or saying what you don't have. And really, you actually do have people rank advancing. You have people leveling up. You have people making goals happen. You influence them to do so. You led them to do so. But instead of being a leader, you're stepping back and acting like it's not enough. Not a bad thing, because I want so much more. So I get it. It's never going to be enough. I get that. I'm not saying don't dream big and wish and go for those big things. But if we forget to recognize, call out, announce, celebrate, be there in the moment for the things that are happening, we're never, ever, ever going to feel fulfilled or feel like we have people rank advancing, right? And so there is someone you can shout out. There is someone you can recognize. There is someone you can call and celebrate. There is someone you can do, and it's not about just on social media, like behind the scenes, being there for someone who's making something happen in their life. There is that. It's actually all around you, whether you have one customer or you have a couple hundred customers. And if you have a couple hundred customers enrolled in Isogenics and you have a handful of people using these products and possibly sharing them with friends and family, just because someone's not hitting a cycle rank or a new title rank doesn't mean your team isn't rank advancing. And it is the biggest disservice we can do as a leader of a team like that, to spend any time thinking about what we don't have and not celebrating what's there right in front of us and lifting that up and creating leaders and letting them tell their story and having them show up and allowing them to see that they can be the leader that you are. So maybe you relate to the rank advancing one, and maybe we can be better about stepping into lens B and looking at it from a leadership perspective and saying, how can I be a bigger leader and a better leader? And then I can create more people who can rank advance. Then I can create the team of my wildest dreams, because I'm helping people create a team of their wildest dreams, because I'm being a leader for them to do so and to have a track to run on and a place to do that and a positive influence in their life to make it happen. So we talked a lot about lens A as comparison, lens B as a leader. When we're in lens A, it's no doubt that the energy that comes out of us, the energy that people receive, is a very different energy than the one in lens B. It's very different. And we can't always be lens B 100% of the time, but can we be there more than we are in lens A? Can we make that happen together? Can we promise ourselves in this team that we're a team of awesome freaking leaders, spending more time looking through lens B than we ever will lens A? And so what happens when that friend or that coworker or that person on Instagram hears from you about an opportunity or about amazing life-changing products, and you send a voice note to share what you're doing? They feel the energy of lens B. When you're in lens A, I'm going to bet it's a completely different energy. In fact, I don't even know if you would send that voice note when you're looking through a lens A. So I think we could all agree that life is an energy exchange, and it's also a mindset shift from of which lens we look through. I believe that we all were downloaded these dreams and born with these dreams in our heart from God, from the universe, whoever it is that you believe in. We have them here in a special place, and we're on this call tonight, and we're here together so that we can see it through, so that we can go on this journey together and tell our stories, to talk our talk, to be here in our own story and journey along the way. So as I close tonight, I reiterate my story to you. I am a nurse. I work a full-time corporate job in medical devices, and I'm an executive at Isagenix. It is my mission, burning desire, and absolute passion here on this planet to do exactly what I'm doing here tonight, to lead and to grow alongside the most amazing, amazing individuals. I am here every day getting better and better and better so that I can continue to inspire more people to create the life I get to wake up to and is not yet finished. I encourage everybody to look at the trainers, the leaders, the teammates, the partners, people surrounding them. People recognize people making big goals happen, people making small goals happen, and not say, what do they have that I don't have? But to say your story again and tell your story, because that story was meant for them and them and them and them and them, but your story was meant for you. So let's get out of comparison and into leadership, and let's make it an amazing, amazing week. Thank you for being on this journey with me. Thank you for listening to me tonight. And I'm so excited to see you guys and all the amazing things you make happen. Thank you guys.